We are in the middle of an arms race, which is backed by artificial intelligence, which is rather new in the area of cybersecurity. And often these AI attacks are based on state-sponsored actors, which shifts actually the current risk landscape from states towards corporations. No doubt, Russia's invasion into the Ukraine reiterates the unique nature of such cyber processes and such attacks we currently recognize. In my view, cyber operations, broadly speaking, state-sponsored operations, are a war without a classic warrior. It does not matter whether such war is automatic or autonomous, as the weapons are. Like Tomahawk missiles, unfortunately, they are disastrous, but even faster and more fatal for balance sheets, ultimately, of corporations. Unsurprisingly, in the early stages, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Russia targeted initially Ukraine's government, data center, and on-premises networks. Personally, I was surprised to a certain degree how positively, how well defended the Ukraine, its assets. They had massive abilities to disperse and distribute digital assets, ultimately digital operations and intangible assets across borders, ultimately into other countries, into public clouds, which many of you might not be aware. But they have used very good defense mechanisms and tactics as far as this is concerned in the early stage. Unlike the mostly untargeted malware tactics deployed under NotPetya in 2017, we have seen now Russia using some highly sophisticated, destructive and targeted wiper malware in the attacks on the Ukrainian networks. If the Ukrainians were not in a position, would have not been in a position to put these digital assets in the public cloud in the European area, I think we would have seen much more damages at the end of the day. We should also recognize, therefore, exponentially that these type of attacks, this type of malware being used, particularly along the lines of wiper malware, is going to be a malware which opens new dimension from a risk management cybersecurity point of view. We also recognize currently that there's a lot of espionage going on in cyber operations outside the Ukraine, with Russian attacking NGOs, attacking corporations, attacking states as far as this is concerned, which ultimately some of these tactics have been successful in exfiltrating data. No doubt this is all backed by so-called psychological attacks, psychological warfare, rather than physical warfare at the end of the day, to impact on the one side the population in the Ukraine, to impact the population in Russia and all over the globe. The future is very clear. The future is very clearly driven even more by so-called AI-based attacks. I'm absolutely convinced that we see a significant additional number, ultimately, of ransomware attacks, mostly backed by wiper malware, and it's just a matter of time. This is happening outside the Ukraine-Russia conflict.